Hello and welcome to the BE Knowledge Share. In this episode, we continue with the perspectives section or chapter of the BBOK Guide, and we will cover the business process management perspective. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, what is business process management? Business process management is literally the it's the task of building out process flows and process maps. And business process management perspective highlights the unique characteristics of the business analysis when practiced in the context of developing or improving business processes. So keep in mind that business analysis is not only restricted to IT or analytics projects, but it is more broader than just those two perspectives of views. Business process management is a management discipline and a set of enabling technologies that, one, focus on how the organization performs work to deliver value across multiple functional areas to customers and stakeholders. Two, is aims for a view of value delivery that spans the entire organization. And three, is views the organization through a process-centric lens. A BPM initiative delivers value by implementing improvements to the way work is performed in an organization. BPM determines how manual and automated processes are created, modified, canceled, and governed. As an example, when you look at robotic process automation or RPA, or for that matter, any sort of process improvement automation work, those involve business process management or BPM. Change scope. Business analysts working with the BPM discipline may address a single process with limited scope, or they may address all of the processes in the organization. Business analysts frequently focus on how the processes of an organization can be changed in order to improve and meet the objectives of the organization. BPM life cycles generally include the following activities: designing, the identification of processes and definition of the current state as is, and determining the future state, which is to be, and the gap between these states may be used to specify stakeholders' expectations of how the business should be run. Two is modeling, the graphical representation of the process that documents the process as well as comparing current state and future state. This phase of BPM lifecycle provides input to requirements and solution design specification, as well as analyzing the potential value. Execution and monitoring provides the same type of input as modeling, but in terms of the actual execution of processes. The data collected as a result of the actual business process flow is very reliable and objective, which makes it a very strong asset in analyzing value and recommending alternatives to design improvement. Optimizing, the act of ongoing repetition or iteration of the previous phases. The results of business process execution and monitoring are utilized to modify models and design so that all inefficiencies are removed. So the optimization may be a source of requirements and solution design definitions that comes directly from stakeholders and the user community. Optimization of processes is also a good way to demonstrate the value of suggested solution modification and justify process and product improvement initiatives. Let's look at it from a breadth of change perspective. The goal of BPM is to ensure that the value delivery is optimized across end-to-end processes. A comprehensive BPM initiative can span the entire enterprise. A single BPM initiative can make an organization become more process-centric by providing insights into its processes. Depth of change. Business analysts use BPM frameworks to facilitate the analysis and deep understanding of the organization's processes. BPM frameworks are sets or descriptions of processes for generic organization specific industry, professional area, or type of value stream. Now, when you consider business process modeling, in some instances, there are several use cases of why organizations would use BPM or even hire business analysts to work on BPM. It could be to understand the value stream mapping of an organization. How do we optimize the process as well? Could be another use case. So this becomes an important component. This could also be a precursor to any sort of tactical slash IT or analytics projects or data science projects where The business is actually wanting to understand, well, how does our process work end to end? And is there a way for us to optimize that process? As a output of that whole exercise, there may be some needs or wants that a manager may want to implement and could be incorporated as part of an IT analytics or any sort of downstream tactical work. So I would highly recommend going to the Baybach guide to really understand the BPM perspective. And what I did want to cover though is the scope and the underlying competencies piece. From a scope perspective, change sponsor, enterprise-wide BPM initiatives are typically started by executives focusing on value and outcomes and then linking these strategic objectives to corresponding business processes which most closely support the objectives. BPM initiatives are frequently triggered by an external situation which generates a business need. Enterprise business analysis practices are applied to develop a business case for a BPM initiative. Change targets. The possible primary change targets for a BPM initiative may include a customer, the key stakeholder in any BPM initiative. The principal focus is on the external customer, but the internal customers are also considered. Since BPM is customer-centric by nature, the customer is part of the BPM initiative in order to validate the effectiveness of the process change. A regulator, a stakeholder in any BPM initiative due to evolving requirements towards compliance and risk management by some organizations. Regulators may trigger a BPM initiative due to changes in regulations on such concerns as public safety, transparency, equal opportunity, and non-discrimination. Process owners, the key stakeholder in any BPM initiative and has the responsibility and authority to make the final decision regarding any changes to the affected processes. The process owner is also responsible for measuring the process performance. Process participants, stakeholders who directly or indirectly participate in the process being evaluated. These participants define the activities of the processes. Project manager manages the BPM initiative and is accountable for its delivery and driving decisions. Implementation team converts the plans of the BPM initiative into functioning business processes. Business analysis position. Business analysts work within the discipline of business process management and may assume a variety of roles. They could be a process architect, which is responsible for modeling, analyzing, deploying, monitoring, and continuously improving business processes. They could be process analysts or designers. They could also be a process modeler. Now, if we go a few steps further, let's understand underlying competencies for a BA working in such a perspective. So they are required to challenge the status quo, take to understand the root causes of a problem, assess why things are being done in a particular way, and encourage SMEs or subject matter experts to consider new ideas and approaches to make their processes more efficient and effective. They are also to understand, articulate, and move back and forth between internal and external views of the processes under analysis. Due to the effects that changes to the views of the processes, due to the effects that changes to processes have on working habits of individuals, interaction skills are valuable in a BPM initiative. BAs frequently negotiate and arbitrate between individuals with different opinions and expose and resolve conflicts between different groups within the organization. The BA is a neutral and independent facilitator of the change. BPM initiatives are likely to involve all levels of the organization, and the BA is required to communicate across organizational boundaries as well as outside of the organization. Now, it's very interesting to read through the impact on other knowledge areas. As I said in my other episodes as well, please review the Baybach Guide to really sink deep into these perspectives, as some may impact your role, some may not impact your role, but for any sort of ECBA, CCBA, or CBAP exam, reading it over from all perspectives gives you a solid foundation of most of the perspectives that are out in the industry in which business analysis skills are used. That being said, this ends the episode as it relates to business process modeling in the Perspectives chapter of the BPM Guide. So until next time, see you then. If you do find value in these episodes, please do consider subscribing. You can also visit our website at beknowledgeshare.com, as well as join our Facebook group. The link has been provided below. Until next time, see you then.